Hi there everyone, it's Roger here from VinylmationKingdom.com with a bit of a rare review. Now normally we cover all the Disney stuff like Vinylmation and Disney Infinity, but recently I picked up the Swap Force Skylanders starter pack on eBay for pretty cheap. The reason I picked this up primarily was with Disney Infinity 2 coming out later this year. And there's been a lot of comparisons to Skylanders ever since Disney Infinity was announced. Now, I'd never actually played any of the Skylanders games, so I decided to sort of jump in and try and get an idea of why people compare it to it, and also how similar it is. So over the last week I've been playing through this game. So with the starter pack I got 3 figures. I got they had the 3 figures. You had Washbuckler, and then you had this, I'm sorry if I can't remember the names of these because it's quite different, and then you also had the Stealth Ninja. Now what was unique about these ones is you can literally take them apart, and then you can take another Swap Force, and then you can reuse these adventures. Now I must admit, I think I like my figures together too much because I haven't really been doing much swapping. Now there are literally hundreds of Skylanders figures, and all of the figures from the first game, Spyro's Adventure and Giants, also work on this one, and also going forward all of these figures will work on Trap Team, which is coming out in October. Now one of the things with this game which I really did enjoy, the actual game itself is a really good adventure. You sort of scrolling through, going around doing different challenges, and you're constantly collecting little objects, coins, basically just trying to get as many coins as possible to level them up and as much experience as possible to level them up. And overall the game is just a lot of fun. I literally have barely been able to put it down all week. There's lots to do, lots of enemies, and there's a lot of comedy in it. I mean, the main Flynn character who does the same voice as the Tick and Family Guy, and there's also the American Dad. He is just a really funny character. Just overall, there's a lot of comedy elements, and I think what is kind of cool with Skylanders is because they're not relying on any big brands. They've had to go out and create all of their own figures and characters, and they're completely kooky. There's just no reason. They've just let their imagination run wild, and the villains and sort of the baddies are pretty much the same. It's just a very random game, and some of these figures are just extremely random. So I've been playing through, and I'm just, like I said, I've been really enjoying sort of playing Skylanders Swap Force. Now one of the things with Skylanders is there's so many figures, and I've just been sort of looking at how, and there's literally, like I said, hundreds of figures in the stores that I was looking at the other day, stacked full. Now, at the minute, obviously with the new game coming out, if you are wanting to get into Skylanders, you can kind of get in quite cheap at the minute because there's lots of figures available, quite a lot in the second-hand market. I mean, I literally picked up a load of figures in game the other day. For example, I picked up this Series 1 Trigger Happy for literally $1.99. I also picked up a Gil Groot, and also picked up this giant one for about $5. Now the reason I wanted this one was it's one of those things that when you're playing through the game, it is constantly kind of pushing on you that you need more figures. Now they do it in such a way that it's very subliminal. You don't quite realise you want it, because what they do is, for example, with the Giants, they have a big crate, and it's only a giant can open it. So you need to pick up one of these. Now, luckily, because you can pick them up really cheap now. I mean, they're literally £5 brand new, even at like some of the retailers. So they've all got different elements. Like this one is, this one's a tree life element. This one is a tech element. So as you're playing along, you'll get to a door gateway, and it might say a tech, so you can take this guy in, so you pop him on and you go in and you play that. But then you get to another one, and it might be the undead. Now I don't have an undead figure yet, so I can't play that, and it's that nagging little thing in your head saying, well, there's something there I want to use, so I'm going to get rid of my figure. Now not only have they done that with 8 different elements, they've also then done it with skill sets. for example, this guy can climb. So you will be playing along, and you'll then come along to a little level where you can sort of climb up, and this guy flies along like using a jetpack kind of thing. Now, these are all part of the Swap Force, so I can see how they've managed to make the game so you can go through and you want to buy these other figures to access this other stuff. Also with these figures is they have a skills tree, so as you're getting more points, you can then give them more powers. So you, for like 200 points you get one, and then you get 400 points, and then this is actually going to be pretty much introduced into Disney Infinity 2.0. So I think that is a really good thing that if they're bringing that forward. I've been really enjoying sort of leveling up and getting new abilities. Now, you do not need to go and buy any more figures. If you've just got the starter pack, you can go through the whole game and you can do the whole story with the free characters that come in it, and that's it. There will be a lot of content that you miss out on, but you don't need it. Now, I haven't yet, you know, there's all these swap characters, and there's a lot, but there's a lot of them on offer now, because I've waited quite a while. But I have to admit, I have been converted from playing this game. It is so much fun. There's lots of arenas to play, and there just seems to be so much content, and it is a really good fun game. Now, obviously, you know, with Disney Infinity and Skylanders, they're pretty much in sort of competition. There's no reason you can't like both. But from my point, I've been going into this game from a Disney Infinity point of view and wondering what it all is and what they're going to bring forward. Now, I have to say, to be all honesty, the actual game itself is almost completely different. You wouldn't even know there were, if you weren't having the figures on the base, you wouldn't even comparing them. It'd be like saying you've got a Super Mario game, or you've got maybe Tomb Raider. They are, yeah, they're sort of adventure games, and they've got lots of slight similarities, but they're an entirely different game. They have an entirely different feel. So don't think that they are actually exactly the same game. Yes, you have toys and you put them on portals or bases, and that's very similar. And you know, that's what makes Disney Infinity comparable to Skylanders. But there is a lot of differences. Now, obviously with Disney Infinity, when you're playing the play sets, you get these little chests or these little adventure games to go on. I don't really think of them as being as in your face about sort of, if you didn't have that challenge, you would just carry on, you wouldn't really notice so much. And it is the same with Swap Force, but I do think they're slightly better at sort of trying to convince you to go buy more figures. Now, one of the really cool things that I did like with Swap Force was, as I said earlier, was this game, this figure was from the original Swap Force, or from the original Spyro. Yeah. Now, this figure was originally from the Spyro's Adventure first game, and this one was from the Giants game. Now, what is cool with Skylanders, and it's the same going to be with Disney Infinity, is that you basically can pop all of these figures on, and they can all be used, and they have all got new upgrades. So it is quite confusing, because I will admit I was sat in the store looking at, like, you know, this guy Trigger Happy. Now there must be, I think, about 5 different variations of this figure. You've got this one, and then you've got him sat on a rocket, and then you've got him sat on an Easter egg, and then there's different colours, and then you've got him with a big machine gun. Well, it's essentially pretty much all the same character. You only really need one of them. It's just they make different models, and every time the game comes out, they re-release the sort of popular figures, but just in a different pose. But you pop it on the game, and it's pretty identical. So you don't necessarily always have to have, you know, the latest game one version. Now, I do believe that there's some parts that can be missing from some power, like the WoW power, but I'm not really too sure of it. But I mean, at the minute, you know, I've seen lots of offers on giant figures and lots of offers on the Swap Force, so you can get hold of a lot of the basic characters. And like I said, you don't need every single one. You can just play through with the starter pack. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good game to check out. Now, obviously, there's just a lot more stuff to do on it, and I was really surprised. I've really been enjoying this game, and I would recommend, you know, if you know, these starter packs are quite often showing up now quite cheap. I literally picked up one on the PlayStation 4 on eBay for about £15, including the free figures and the portal. So for that amount of money, you just can't go wrong. Yes, you could go and buy everything. You don't need to, and it's very tempting to. I mean, I literally bought the game, and the next 2 days later I was in town and ended up spending £10 on 3 more figures. That's kind of, you know, it can happen, and it probably will happen. But overall, first, I gotta say I really enjoyed this Skylanders Swap Force game. Anyway, what do you guys think of Swap Force? Remember to comment below, and also just remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.